be here when elections come.
Yes.
The next item is, do you support the firing? And we understand, we believe in due process. We understand that there ought to be an investigation, but we believe more than one investigation has been conducted into the actions of Tony Pirone.
Yes.
We ask, do you at this time support the firing of Officer Tony Pirone? Yes, please, Ms. Sweet, you are more than welcome to have the floor.
Amen.
I only want the floor because you all know that I have lost confidence in some of our processes, and Chief G, I've said that a long time ago. I do believe that there's probably room for some serious discipline for Officer Tony Pirone. I don't have enough detail to make a decision to say, fire this guy right now. I really don't. And there's a lot more that needs to come across my plate before I could say that should happen. But the one thing I can also tell you is that you all being here is wonderful, because we do need to be a lot more transparent in what it is we do.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you some of the things that I have found out from the public, more so than from here. So I'm with you on that. But it's really not the right venue to put my colleagues on the hot seat right now, because technically we can't vote on this stuff. And if it ever did come as a board vote to do any of these disciplinary actions, they would be tainted by this process right now, because they feel either reluctant or forced to do something that they don't have enough information to make an informed decision right now.
With all respect, Director Sweet, it is our job
I
to
understand.
apply this pressure. We know that you understand that. We do respect that an investigation needs to take place, but we also have heard from you that an investigation took place. Of all of the officers, it was turned over to the district attorney, and the result of which was not that Tony Pirone was fired. Right. So that's why we're here. So I hear what you're saying. You've got your legal things to do. We've got our accountability, which is to the citizens of this community. And so we're here, and we're going to ask, and we can talk more offline about the process and the limitations. I love to be educated, which is why I spend so much of my time being educated on this issue. So that's not a problem. We are going to continue with our vote, however. If you, and I'm sorry, Ms. Sweet was given an exception because she's made an exception for us to come out to our community. So we're going to ask you, Mr. Please be respectful. We're going to ask you, Mr. Radulovich, to hold your comments and perhaps approach us at some of the many community forums that we hold.
You may want to hear from Director Radulovich, because he and I have been spending a lot of time. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I have been working with Director Radulovich in San Francisco with some of the elected officials over there to try to come up with some things that we could bring back to the B.A.R.T board. And Director Radulovich has spent a lot of time out canvassing, trying to find support for making some changes here at B.A.R.T.
So on the honor of Director Sweet, we will cede some time to Director Radulovich.
I'm happy to answer your questions, and I just want to, we're all looking for opportunities to educate. So we as board members need to follow the law. And the law states that there's actually only 4 people at this district that we can hire and fire. And those 4 people are in this room. It's the district secretary, it's the general counsel, it's the controller treasurer, and the general manager. So what I have said publicly is, well,
No, but this is a question of support, Director Radulovich. This isn't about who. We didn't ask you to fire them right now. Some of us would love that, but that's not what we're asking. We're asking you, do you support them being fired? Is there a reason you can't say that?
Well, because the reason being, if you have a situation where elected officials can hire or fire anyone in an organization, it's called a patronage system. It's a bad system to have, and that's why there's these protections for rank and file employees, because if we say, okay, we want you fired, that could go for anybody in the district. So other people have, they're subject to due process. They've got rights under collective bargaining. They've got rights under due process. They've got rights under civil service. Now, a legitimate question and a totally fair question for you to ask is, should we have all of the proceedings with regard to this in public? I think the answer for me is emphatically yes.
Thank you.
The person who is accountable to me directly for the police is a department of the district, answers to the general manager. I have said publicly, and will say again, I think this has been mishandled. I think police review has been inadequate, and I've called publicly for the dismissal of the general manager. All right. And where I'm at. I want to be honest, but I want to act lawfully.